They called it a drug problem, but it wasn't the heroin they feared. It was the voice, and what she chose to sing with it.
Billie Holiday was born Eleanora Fagan in 1915, a childhood marked by poverty, assault, and instability. She cleaned floors, was sent to reform school, and at times worked the streets. But her voice rewrote everything.
By her 20s, she was performing with Count Basie and Artie Shaw. She was the first black woman to tour with an all-white orchestra. She wasn't just singing, she was bending the world to her sound.
In 1939, Billie took the stage at Café Society, the first racially integrated nightclub in New York. And there, under one harsh spotlight, she sang Strange Fruit.
It wasn't a song, it was a scream, a reckoning, and it came from a black woman's mouth, in a room full of white silence. It didn't ask, it accused. It pointed a trembling finger at America's darkest truth. And it did it from a black woman's mouth.
They couldn't stand a black woman putting their crimes on display, not in a courtroom, not in a protest, and definitely not in a jazz club with white folks listening. She made them feel the lynching, and they hated her for it.
Harry Anslinger, head of the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, called her a threat. And in a system built to control people like her, that was enough.
At Café Society, she turned it into a ritual. The house lights dimmed. A single spotlight hit Billie. Waiters were told to stop serving, no introduction, just the music. And when it ended, she walked off without a word. The stage went dark, no encore, no applause, no distractions.
It caught the attention of Harry Anslinger. He called jazz filth and its musicians degenerates. But Billie, he saw her as something worse, uncontrollable.
She refused to be controlled, and systems like that always find another way to shut people down.
In 1947, Billie was arrested for heroin possession. No lawyer, no support. They offered her a deal, turn in other musicians. She said no. So they made her an example.
She was sentenced to a year in federal prison. Not rehab, no treatment, no detox, just steel bars and shame.
She served her time, came out clean, and asked for her cabaret license back so she could earn a living.
They denied her. She couldn't perform in clubs that served alcohol, which meant she couldn't perform anywhere that mattered. They didn't just lock her up, they locked her out.
They took the stage away from the one place she could breathe, and then watched her drown.
Heroin wasn't just an escape for Billie Holiday. It was survival. She grew up in trauma, abuse, brothels, poverty, abandonment. The drug dulled that pain. It gave her a kind of stillness she never had as a child. But it wasn't just chance. Her addiction was fed by the people around her, lovers, husbands, dealers. Some of them, all three at once. The system crushed her and then handed her heroin like a silencer. And the Bureau operated inside a system where addiction made people easier to control. That's why Anslinger sent in a different kind of agent. Someone who could blend in. Someone she might trust.
Jimmy Fletcher, young, smart, black. He looked like safety. He was surveillance. He posed as a friend, blending into her world under the guise of being a supporter.
He was assigned to follow Billie. He slipped into her circle, clubs, rehearsals, her home. He laughed with her, earned her trust.
The intelligence he gathered led to the 1947 raid on her New York apartment, the one that led to her arrest and conviction.
He later said he admired her, said he regretted what he did, but regret can't undo what betrayal does to a person.
She trusted him, but he was a plant sent to betray her from the start, and something in her never healed.
Her career fractured. Her addiction deepened, and the Bureau kept circling.
In 1959, Billie Holiday was in a hospital bed, dying. Cirrhosis, heart failure, and a federal guard outside her door.
She was under arrest in that hospital. Accounts describe her handcuffed, guarded, her belongings confiscated, flowers, radio, basic comforts denied.
They said she was still under investigation, but she wasn't a threat anymore. She was just a dying woman.
Billie Holiday didn't overdose. She was erased by design.
Straight fruit still grows from the trees you thought forgot. Blood on leaves and hands below, and the soil still knows the word, and still it sweeps soft and